Oh, hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you at the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Coffee Break, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director here at Site 42 of the SCP Foundation. And as I have done for the last 9 months and counting, the daily streak remains strong. I am here to open my office door to you, the Foundation staff, to answer your burning questions about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff that contain them, the groups of interest who try to stop us from containing them, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the SCP Foundation's purview, I am here for the next approximately 90 minutes to answer your questions. But before I do, a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, I am seeing all sorts of messages that I want to reply to directly, so even before I welcome all of our first and our chatters, let me answer some quick, excellent messages you are already sending in. Nikki Knackle, just finished your first day at the gym. Working legs suck since I've got a bad hip from a bike accident last year. Look, you're doing it though. The Foundation Fitness Initiative is all about doing it. Now, what I will recommend to you, if you can afford it, if your gym has so, because you are working through an injury, and like me, you probably don't want to re-injure it by doing things with bad form, I might recommend working with one of the trainers who you can inform, this is the injury I have, please watch my form, please make sure that I do not cause myself more injury in the future. I highly recommend that, but overall, good job getting back to the Foundation Fitness Initiative. Mad respect. I also went to the gym this morning, a little bit of cardio, a little bit of yoga, and I am feeling fantastic, which is why my mouth is moving faster than my brain. I am hype, people. Hype, I say. Furthermore, who else said something here? Hunter Parker! Welcome to today's stream and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Hunter Parker. I'm iced in, Dr. Sherman. Rar caution, I have heard about that. Please stay safe as best you can. This storm is taking over all sorts of parts of our nation, and all of the ice is especially a problem. I mean, fuck that ice, if anything. Okay, those were the pressing messages that I saw that I wanted to respond to quickly at the start. Let me go back to the top here. Chest to Factory. Congratulations on being our first chatter of today's stream, the most punctual member of today's Containment Hazard Assessment team. Good work. Alongside you, Dr. Vincent, Nikki Knackle, Woscom, Crispy Bacon Monkeys, Jace Official, The Cooler Kid, Sleep Deprived Dragon of the Night, Amber Chaos, Fanta, Oswald the Scarlet King, Lil Ghost, 369 Destroyer, The Star Wars Room, America, Dr. Vell. I sound like the wheel on Wheel of Fortune as it's spinning down to slow down as I reach the bottom of the chat. Everybody who I have just named, thank you for being here to today's stream punctually, and thank you for being members of Site 42 on YouTube. We appreciate your membership and your service. Finally, Avari, Joey, Lucas, Charlotte, and Anthony. All of you who I have named, thank you for being here punctually, and thank you for being here today, just for being you. Now, Today's stream subject, real quick for you. A new SCP animator has entered the chat. And by entered the chat, I mean entered my range of attention. Because they are not a new SCP animator. They are, in fact, a old school SCP animator of about 4 to 5 years of videos. But I did not know about them at all. You may have seen yesterday on the stream, one moment, SCP Foundation Site 406 and Professor Pig. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. You may have seen yesterday's short of SCP-999 being fed a muffin and having a strange reaction to said muffin. Well, as is the culture of TikTok, that video was re-uploaded by some random account. That's who I found when I do edit it. So I had no idea who the original animators were. Until YouTube has this beautiful function, that if someone with more than 100,000 subscribers, meaning they have the check mark, if someone with a check mark comments on your videos, YouTube directly alerts you to be like, hey, some big channel is looking at your stuff. You should know about this. And so, I, in fact, looked at this checkmark chatter and I was like, oh, you love this? That's great for you. Who are you? And I looked at their animations. I was like, huh, that SCP-999 looks very familiar. And so, yes, if I go to a YouTube account that is in the chat or is in the stream subject, an @Rizio or Rizio, I don't know if it's pronounced Rizio, Rizo, or Rizio. One day when we talk, you'll have to tell me about that. But this Rizio person has many an SCP Foundation animation, such as SCP-999 as a balloon. Give my computer time. And so I was not familiar with this animator before, but come on, slow down. What are we doing here? There we go. So if we scroll through their video section, we see a whole bunch of SCP-999 in the ocean. Is this illegal, SCP animation? I'm scared of that one. Do not break protocol, please. SCP-999 having sugar, as well as many other fandoms, of course. There was some Steven Universe in there, some Team Fortress in there, but they seem to thrive on very adorbs animations. And so, I've never seen this person before today, but I'm quite happy to have made the acquaintance. And so, make sure if you go to check out their SCP animations as well as their other stuff, and you decide to leave a comment, tell them Dr. Sherman sent ya. You know how to do. So, Rizio, thank you for your service in the world of SCP animation. Now, coming back to the stream chat and repopulating. Cool. Nikki Knackle says, let's swarm and hype them. You know the rules, and so do I. Mobile Task Force, Psi-42, codename Signal Boosters. Go, give them some hype. They haven't made a video in a while, maybe. They will make some more for us. Desk. We just had our first conversation with Rizo. Let's not make a repeating prompt until we've talked to them a little more, just to make sure. Weren't they the one that made the SCP Pizza Day short? Dr. Frogman, I am not certain about that. I'm not seeing an animation about pizza. Oh, but I'm not looking in their shorts, am I? Free Drink, Tiny SCP-999, The Amazing Digital Circus. So, I do not see a Pizza Day short. But that doesn't mean it's not. It just might mean it's not on the YouTube channel. Or not where I see it. There it is. SCP Pizza Day, SCP animation. 2 minutes, 4 years ago, with SCP-682 in the thumbnail. So yes, the answer is yes. We found it, everyone. Good work. FNAF fan, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. All right, we're back. Lucas the intern. Hey, Dr. Sherman, zoom in on the mark map in Europe, then you will see it. So, just for the sake of future things, chat, do not try to get me to lead me to something if I don't know what it is. I don't like surprises on stream because, you know, I never know what's going to happen. I need to keep control of protocol here. Secondly, if I don't know what you're talking about, the likelihood of me finding it drops significantly. So please don't say, oh, zoom in on the map and you'll see it. Tell me what I'm looking for, please. Okay? Meanwhile, give us cereal. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some steel-cut oatmeal on your way past the commissary. SCP, Mr. Void has been captured. My duty is done. Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear another anomaly has been contained. Good work. Jace Official, thank you for your 2 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Recently came out to my parents. They support. Well, that's fabulous for you, Jace. I am proud and happy for you. Aflac, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a latte on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, I found a great Scottish folk song called Rye Whiskey. I am not sure if it's the one. No, I think My Rye Whiskey is a different Rye Whiskey. Who's it by? You just said it's a Scottish folk song. Rye Whiskey lyrics. I've got a couple pulled up here. You'll have to give me more information along the way. I only watch this because your hair looks cool. Well, intern, whatever your reasons, intern Mason, I appreciate it. Do you know of or listen to the Magnus Archives? It's a horror podcast by the Rusty Quill. I am familiar with their work, Researcher Little Ghost, and I have listened to a couple of episodes, but I have not dove into the whole thing. So to elaborate on the mark map, they have breached many parts of Europe, Germany, and stuff. And we are so done for. And M-Day is at the end of this coming week. This is going to be messy. If the Markiplier Horde has breached other sides of Europe, we're going to be in deep, well, I guess, blood ocean? Sir, how do I join the Foundation and enter Site42? Well, intern Gabica, depending on what kind of job you want, all you have to do is subscribe to Site42 here on YouTube to be a member of Site42 staff. So, it's pretty easy here on YouTube. Made some progress on the green light process and got some great advice from a member of the Moth Squad. Things are getting exciting. What is the Moth Squad? I'm curious. But I'm glad to hear your green light process is proceeding in good ways. Dr. Sherman, I love your videos. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Intern Smith. Thank you very much. We're doing our best to educate and elucidate the mysteries of the Foundation to our lower-level staff members. Discord's green lighting criteria. Okay, cool. Gotcha. If we yawn, do deaf people think we're screaming? Intern Mike, you would have to ask a deaf person. I am not familiar with their psychology in that manner, but I would assume they're smart enough to know what's going on. Deaf people do yawn as well. What would happen if SCP-999 was cross-tested with SCP-096? Intern Lucina, nothing much. SCP-999, however it's pictured in the fandom as a little piece of goo with eyes and a smile and adorableness, the real SCP-999 in canon is a 2 meter by 1 meter faceless slime. It is couch-sized, and it does not have any facial features, which means it doesn't have eyes, which means it does not see 096's face or activate it. Therefore, 096 would be tickled and made docile by SCP-999, but as soon as someone saw its face and it got freaked out and ran out of containment to go murder that person, 999 is not fast enough to hold on to 096, therefore 096 is just gonna pew. So not a whole lot. Dr. Frogman, thank you for your 7 months as a level 1 researcher here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service. What's your favorite way SCP-682 has died? I think, as much as I hate that thing, if you could have been there to see what we have expunged because of how bad it was, whoo-wee! Did that lizard have it coming? Why can't we just ask SCP-343 to do everything? Intern Venom Man, because SCP-343 is a lazy, good-for-nothing bastard. All it ever does, if we ask for help, is, "Oh, no, my child, I can't possibly help you, because a father can't always help his children. I have to let you grow up and do your own strength." Reality bender with delusions of grandeur, a god complex, and a buffoon. We don't need its help. That's why we shot it in the face in the tale Divine Intervention. Intern Handle, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some nachos on your way past the commissary. Do you think SCP-4 a device that could literally wipe out universes to stop a 001 proposal, could defeat 682? If the idea of it is gone, then dead? What do you mean SCP-0? Is this a thing that exists on the database? I am unfamiliar. Are you just making things up? SCP-0000. There is no SCP-0. We don't have anything like that, and so I'm not sure what you're speaking of. Remember, chat, we have a blue name, a moderator, named the Desk of Alto Clef. If you see a blue name in the chat, you better read what he says. Because if he's calling you out for breaking a rule and you ignore him, he will have no choice but to silence you, or temporarily or permanently, because you did not listen to the rules. Not paying attention to the moderator is not an excuse. Fun fact, Able is canonically older than SCP-343. Source, the Project Paragon Hub. Interesting. Yeah, I never really thought to consider how old 343 actually is, since we can know that it's not actually God. Hi, Dr. Sherman. Opinion on me just stealing SCP-113 for fun? No, intern 4241. Not a chance. Because then we couldn't use it as part of the SCP Foundation healthcare plan for our trans staff members who require it. So no, you may not steal it. If you want to use it, put in your proper paperwork with HR and medical, and your turn will come. Are staff allowed to use certain SCPs for amusement? From time to time. With proper paperwork and permissions and requisitions, of course. Let's just say the next SCP-420-J party is coming up soon. Jeff is not amusing, Jeff is the enemy. Oh, desk, simmer down. Jeff is a cool dude. Yes, it's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Frustrating that we can't contain it, but all around, pretty chill guy. Jeff Karen'd me. Karen'd you? You threw yourself at Jeff's head. Intern Poe Doe, Random Cap Cut, Nothel Game, and Rod Hammond. Welcome to Site-42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Duskbringer, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Make sure to get yourself a plate of chicken wings on your way past the commissary. How would the Foundation deal with breathin' moons from Dead Space? In situations similar to the end of Dead Space 3, zombie planetoid of sort. Breathin' Moon. Dead Space 3. Wiki. Plot. Plot summary. Being pulled up into the planet-sized organism, they managed to reactivate the machine and set it to reject convergence, which stops the event and causes the moon to crash into Tau Volantis along the remains of the alien city. Well, I would recommend, A, if it's far enough off in space that we don't have to deal with it, we don't have to deal with it. Ticonderoga anomalies are specifically, we can't contain them, but they're so far off, we don't need to worry about them. Or they're so ubiquitous to the public, but they don't know they're anomalous, that we don't worry about containing them. And so, in this case, if it's Ticonderoga, but if they happen to be moving toward us, I mean, I guess we have to reenact the game and try to send a mobile task force that can disable the anomaly before it gets to us. Intern Handle, thank you for donating again to say, look up SCP-001, you are the anomaly tumor of the worlds. I am not bullshitting you. All right, I'm not familiar with this SCP-001 proposal. You are the anomaly. Okay. So is this Arbalik's proposal? Let me start on the 00. Yes, okay, good. Arbalek's proposal. I got it. So I have not read Arbalek's proposal. This is new information to me. How long is it? Not too long. All right, let me get a summary here. I have a stream to run, so I don't have time to read an entire longer document. Back up. What is Arbalek's proposal? It is a sad... Have you heard the idea that every little decision we make creates a branching universe from each choice? That's true in this SCP, and the multiverse is about to run out of room. I don't think humanity messed up. It's a sad premise that humanity is the anomaly, which just can't exist in their universe for no good reason. But one big mistake they made is that after nearly bringing themselves to extinction to slow down the multiverse creation, they accidentally opened a past dormant universe with the old high population, which made their effort into killing themselves go to waste and threaten the multiverse again. Well, that's not a good thing. Every time the Foundation wants to kill all humanity, it never goes well for us. Maybe the moral is to stop trying to kill all humans. Have you thought about that, overseers? Sheesh. Control F, 1, 2, 3, 4. Use of SCP-0000, which links to a dead page, because of course it does. So we're creating a device developed by the Foundation of Relict Dimension R42, capable of annihilating the dimension it is activated in. After the destruction of the target dimension, all child paradimensions in the state of existence uncertainty will undergo slow self-destruction. So we are the TVA. We are not culling, not breaching, not clipping, pruning. We are pruning timelines. I see. Well, that's unfortunate for us. Zach Moss, thank you for your first 2 donations to today's stream. Grab yourself a burger on your way past the commissary. Can I steal Shy Guy and release him? First of all, Shy Guy, SCP-096, is an it, not a he. It is an object. All anomalies and SCPs in containment are objects, not people. Please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Secondly, obviously you cannot release it. That's a stupid question. I don't know why you would ask such a thing. I reckon Australia is an SCP and I'm Australian. Well, yes, the Floridians gather the same arrogance as well. But the only state or territory that is completely anomalous to our current knowledge is Massachusetts. Not to say there isn't a lot of stuff we have to deal with in Australia, Florida, Ohio, etc. Just not the whole territory is an SCP. Dr. Vell, has something perplexed or shocked you? Your capital yelling. Excuse me, Australia is not an SCP. Yes, that's what I just said. Australia is not an SCP. Massachusetts is an SCP. What did Massachusetts do? Well, Intern Rosehill, Massachusetts doesn't exist. For some reason, we have a mimetic cognitohazard in our minds that makes us believe that Massachusetts is real, but it's not. SCP-4006 details this very clearly. Massachusetts is the name of the article. And yes, everybody who thinks they live in Massachusetts, they actually live on the exterior border of what is considered Massachusetts. But since they all accept this collective delusion, they have Massachusetts State Police and county police of Massachusetts counties that aren't actually in Massachusetts. And so if your friend lives in Massachusetts, no, they don't. If you live in Massachusetts, no, you don't. SCP-4006, codename Massachusetts, for more information. Star Wars Room, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself an Ecto Cooler on your way past the commissary. How do you feel about SCP-019? I don't recognize the 019 designation off the top of my head, but I will certainly look into that. 019, codename the Monster Pot. Appears to be a very large ceramic vase, 1.8 meters in diameter at the mouth. That is rather large. Style and decoration indicate it was created in classical Greece. Periodically, entities emerge from 019. Collectively, those are known as -2s. The entities vary in many aspects, but tend to be small, vaguely humanoid, though they may have animaloid features, and extremely hostile. They often choose to attack with teeth or claws. Although fairly delicate, also surprisingly flammable, they are reasonably strong and pose a considerable threat in large numbers. So we have to keep the pot contained and cold, because when it's cold, it spawns less entities. Alright, well, I hate anomalies that spawn more anomalies, because that's more resources and paperwork. So this anomaly sucks and I hate it. That's my opinion. Zach Moss, welcome to Level 1 Researchership here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Our ranks of green names are going stronger, and soon we will win the battle against the white names. Somebody taped a picture of 096 on 173. What do we do? Lucas the intern, I know for a fact you have been present for this conversation before. Where did they tape the photo? Because you can just look somewhere else on the statue. It's a big statue. If they put the 096 on its face, look at 173's feet. If they put it on the feet, look at 173's head. Critical thinking, people. I see a Ko-Fi notification has come in. Let me get that so I don't forget it exists. Refresh. Interesting. To whomever just sent... wait, I can get around this. I just have to go through... For some reason, Ko-Fi isn't showing me your donation, but I can verify this here. Huh. Peculiar. If someone donated... Oh, it must... Maybe you accidentally said something naughty and the filter caught it. Ko-Fi can be a little censorshipy. Where do I find all of the... Huh. Maybe there's not a donation. Maybe it was just alerting me of nothing, after all. Interesting. Thanks, Ko-Fi, for confusing me while I'm streaming. Monster. We still appreciate you for your low taxes on donations, though. Alright, back to the chat. Repopulating. What by far is the most annoying type of anomaly to contain? Teleporters. Easily. They just... out of containment. It's really annoying. I read SCP-3307. I regret it. Yeah. Yeah, SCP-3307, codename Cornucopy Ass. Oh, that's disgusting. And if you have read it by text, I highly recommend, if you think you can handle it, listening to our audio adaptation of 3307 here on the channel. I went real hard on the sound effects. It's disgusting. It's an anomaly. His highlight was a different color yesterday. No, this is, I have not changed my hair since yesterday. Maybe it's just folded in a slightly different pattern showing a different color. Dr. Sherman, have you ever heard the tale of the man who survived 096? Intern hammer down, I have not. Can you specify more? So for SCP El Dente-J, is it the box itself that talks, or is it the pasta? Or is it like the pasta, the box's organs? As far as we know, it is the pasta in the boxes that is talking. Because we are able to open the box, boil the pasta, and eat it with no ill effects. And then the box is considered non-anomalous at that point. So we believe that the pasta itself is the anomaly that is speaking in that frankly racist-ass Italian accent. YouTube tax is 30%? Bastards. Yep, intern Kelms, yes. A Ko-Fi donation pulls a flat fee of like $1 plus 3% of your donation is taken by Ko-Fi. Or actually, it's taken by Stripe and or PayPal, not Ko-Fi. Ko-Fi doesn't take a cut. But that's like 3% plus a little. YouTube takes a flat 30% of every super chat, which is why we greatly appreciate it if you make the effort to go to Ko-Fi. I mean, I understand YouTube's got to make their cut too, but I think it's a little steep as their cut. Dr. Sherman, can we see Puppy of Interest Charlie? Well, I'm sure Puppy of Interest 42 is around here somewhere. Not within eye or hand's reach right now. Perhaps we'll get lucky. Before the end of stream, Puppy of Interest will visit us. Or if, let's say, I set a goal of, let's call it 20 donated memberships, I will make an expedition to go hunt the Puppy of Interest. Seems like a fair trade. Intern Isabel, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself a cronut on your way past the commissary. Could the skeleton key, SCP-005, unlock SCP-001, the lock? Well, let's see. Desk has got me Quantum's proposal, the lock, in the back channels. So it is a smooth, black, perfectly ellipsoidal onyx gemstone with a mottled white pattern. Wrapped around its sphere, encompassing its equator on both poles, is a complex and layered fractal filigree of gold metal. The gold is sculpted into broad strokes that is now what is agreed to be the lower or south pole of the object. With increasing latitude and pattern becomes progressively more intricate. Near the north pole, also called the lock or singularity, see acquisition report below, the pattern complexity progresses beyond capability of optical or electron beam microscopes to resolve. Further investigation is pending advances in microscopy technology. Okay, so acquisition report. Cabinet of Curiosities. I mean, the real question, in one of the sketches, a small ornate object resembling a key is shown fitted into its north pole. The key has not been recovered. So a key can fit into it. And SCP-005, I don't know that it has any limitations. Ornate key, displaying characteristics of a typical mass-produced key. Unique ability to open any and all forms of lock. Effective in removing almost any form of locking device further to disguise the purpose of or identity of the lock, have proven at least somewhat successful in defeating 005's ability. In approximately 50% of cases where a volunteer was not able to identify a locking device as such, the key was not successful in deactivating the device. So, we do know we are able to identify it as a lock, so that would not be a problem. Due to these results, 005 has been tentatively classified as sentient, and further tests are being run to determine its cognitive abilities. However, there are no results that show any traits that prevent it from being able to identify any particular locking device. Only the aforementioned device has been heavily concealed and disguised. I mean, at least from what I'm seeing, it seems logical that 005 would be able to open Quantum's proposal lock. I don't see a reason why not. But again, it seems like there's a horrible and awful death god in there. So, maybe not? Open it, please? Mortis Animations, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself some strangle fruits on your way past the commissary. Could you use SCP-871 as infinite fuel? No. Because, number one, what are you going to fuel with cake? Are we burning a fire? By the way, any sort of apparatus to burn 871s for fuel would be overpowered by the exponential nature of reproduction of the 871s in very quick time. So no. Nikki Knackle, thank you for gifting a Site42 gift membership to today's stream. We appreciate your generosity, and if you received that random donation, you're here in the chat, make sure to thank Nikki Knackle for their generosity. Lucas the Intern, you are correct. Our likes are well above our viewer count right now, which means, thanks to you, Containment Hazard Assessment Team, the YouTube algorithm is going to be forced to bring us more viewers. People who will see the SCP Foundation active on YouTube and get excited. More SCP content to be made as we provide engagement to fellow SCP content creators like the aforementioned Rizio, or Rizio, however you pronounce that animator's name, who makes very cool fandom animations, including adorable SCP ones. So thank you, Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codename Signal Boosters, for your service and helping us to support the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. At what point of cooperation are anomalies allowed to regain pronouns? Because I believe anomalies that become staff get pronouns. Intern Simber, you are correct. Once an anomaly is loyal enough and useful enough to the Foundation to be promoted to a staff position, they are then treated like a human being and not an object. The only other reason we would do so for a contained anomaly is if they maintained an anomalous ability so powerful that they could easily breach containment if angry with us, but we are nice to them so they voluntarily stay. Interns Very Small Pro, Isaac Rowan, Angel Spevik, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Lucas, I appreciate your attempt at humor, but let's not even go that close to it. Why are the SCP mods a-holes? Intern Jackal, or Jacket. The SCP mods are not, as a whole, a-holes. What they are is a bunch of unpaid volunteers trying to hold together a massive fandom community in their off time while the world is going through hell. So maybe give them a little bit of grace. They're not perfect, okay? No community's moderators are perfect. I happen to think the SCP moderation staff is better than most. Asshole Gupta. Yes, the SCP Foundation is an LGBTQIA-friendly space. And so please get your funk ass out of here. I've been subscribed since I think 23 or 24. Thanks for being here. Oh, Desk, that person has Aryan in their name. Please completely ban them. I'm not even questioning that. And Collins family, glad to hear you enjoy our work. Don't worry, I got him. Oh, you got him at the same time. Teamwork. They seem like gatekeepers who dish out criticism but can't take it. Intern Jacket, I disagree entirely with your supposition. They are human beings who are dealing with any sort of rule breaks as they may. It is not easy to be the people in charge. You'll learn this as you grow and ascend into powerful positions. You have to be a lot more thoughtful for what you deal with. And are moderators perfect? No. But they are doing the best with a bad situation. And I don't know what situation in particular you're talking about, but you gotta remember, mods are humans too. They're not evil, power-tripping monsters. They are just people who are trying to get by and do their best for the community. Wow, chat is on a rampage today. Intern Gamer. This is the first time I'm seeing your name, and you're yelling at me that you're going to unsubscribe thanks for nothing? You really need to relax, man. I haven't seen any of your chats. I don't know if you were asking a question or what. Relax, there's 100 other people here. Have some patience. Intern Sandy Castle. The current track that is playing is called The Longest Con in the Universe by Slowgramming. All of our music is provided by friend of the channel, Billith, SCP author as well as experimental musician, who makes music themed on SCP articles as well as other inspirations. And so Slowgramming, available on Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube, should be listened to, and thank you for Billith to supporting the channel by making us a playlist of music to play. Can I give SCP-999 a pancake? Intern Nuggy, no. Yesterday we saw what happened if you give it a muffin. It's not enough sugar, it's too much wheat. It causes problems. Stick to candy. Dr. Sherman, thank you, by the way, for the new mobility stick. It is much more durable than my previous, very useful for walking and whacking anomalies when in vicinity. Yes, just Dr. Freesh, I'm glad you appreciate it. Please stay away from SCP-049-J, because once it sees your walking stick, it is also going to attempt to duel you with its, quote, pointy doctor stick. And that is just a hassle we don't want to have to deal with. Oh, and remember, Site42 staff, even when chat is on a rampage, even when rude people, frickin' Nazis show up, it's still better overall that the algorithm is bringing us more people, because the majority of them don't suck. So don't let the assholes bother you. That gives them power over you. Instead, at least in chat, we can, what's the word I'm looking for? Laugh it off. Rodland, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself a calming jasmine tea on your way past the commissary because, wow, you are screaming. You might need to rest a little bit, Uncle Iroh style. Dude, the IRS is at our doorstep. We can handle anyone else, but not the IRS. What do we do? Hey, what do you mean the IRS is here? No, we paid the taxes we have to pay through our front companies. Obviously, a secret organization doesn't answer the government. No, and wait a minute. You think the IRS is active right now in the middle of this a pox of a useless, gullible government that's currently being run? That's not the IRS. Don't fall for it. They don't have the finances or the agents right now to investigate us. Give me a break. Don't fall for such trickery. Scared me for a second, though, I admit. That is the fair thing to be afraid of, but no, it's not them. Why did the Foundation need to confiscate 049's pointy Dr. Stick? Why? Intern Venomman, pay attention, please. It's SCP-049-J, a very different entity from SCP-049. And while I look this up, Intern Leo Plays, welcome to Site-42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. SCP-049 at first. Duplicate tab. Add a -J. So, if we move over to SCP-049, we get the Plague Doctor that everyone knows and loves for some god-awful reason. I don't know why you would love this French fucking murderer. But then we move over to SCP-049-J, which is a much, well, sillier entity. In an interview with SCP-049-J and Dr. Baker. Hello, SCP-049-J. Welcome to I Am a Doctor. Yes, I'm aware. We're just doing this as a I have the cure. Yes, well, we'll get to that. First off, can you tell me your name? Yes, quite very well. I have the cure, good sir. Indubitably, yes, I am a doctor. What? Bring me the patient. I will heal them. Gestures with pointed doctor stick. Jesus, watch. Fuck, where you're swinging that. Watch it. I am the cure. What in the world are you... Oh, I get it. You're sort of a moron, aren't you? No, good sir, I am most effective. I mean, my cure. I am the cure. Very effective, the most, because I am a doctor. Right, we're going to look into that. Let's, So this patient rolls in a patient on a table. Has the pestilence, yes. I can smell it. Has a sore throat. We are wondering if you know of any cures to fix their ailments. Hi. Yes, of course. I am a doctor, after all. Subject begins to dig around in their doctor bag for some time. Need any help over there? No! He is not the cure. I am the cure. Ah, yes. This will do the trick. That is a shoe. Yes! That will heal this person. It is the cure! All right. Go ahead. SCP-049 proceeds to gesture dramatically over the patient before violently beating the patient's throat with a shoe. Whoa, fuck! What are you doing? How is this supposed to help? After a moment, the entity stops. The patient lies mutilated and dead on the tabletop. What the fuck is that? What the fuck was that? Patient is healed! What? No, she's not. You just crushed her throat with a shoe. No, patient is very well now. Yes, I am the cure. Look at all this blood. Moral atrocities aside, this is going to take hours to clean up. You just killed a person. No, they are cured. Yes, watch. Grabs the corner of the patient's mouth and begins to move it while speaking out of the corner of his own. Hello, yes, I am the patient, good sir, and I am cured. Most effective. Thank you, doctor. You did a good job. You are the best doctor. Now look here. I see your hand down there. I know that isn't the patient talking. What is this supposed to be? Oh, look! More pestilence over there! What? Where the... Oh, for fuck's sake, he's gone again. God damn it! Post-incident video logs show SCP-049-J making a brisk escape through a side door. Additional footage gathered from nearby town shows SCP-049-J stopping at a hardware store to pick up a pointier wooden doctor stick. So yes, SCP-049-J certainly does exist. Algebalerian and Rodland. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Peak comedy. Beaked comedy. Nice one up, intern Gonzalez. Excellent pun. Rodland from Rodland of Pipes. Thank you for donating again to say, you may have stopped our plans for now, but the pipes will always win. You may have pushed us underground, but the pipes will always win. You said that already. I hate it when the pipes are calling. Okay, so SCP-049-J is basically a wiki canon version of Reggie. Noted. Intern American, I cannot disagree with your statement. What is your favorite SCP? Intern Grey Knight. I always tell you my favorite SCPs as part of the outro of stream. It's kind of a tradition around these parts. And so, stream ends as a time check in about 35 minutes. If you are still here, you can hear them in the outro. Or, you could always cheat, go to yesterday's stream, because I did, in fact, say them at the end of yesterday's stream as well. Or, you can just donate, and I'll do it whenever you ask. Tis SCP-049 still in the cat-made waifu dimension? Well, several are still trapped in the cat-made waifu dimension, but my universe's SCP-049 at least is not. It has made peace over the killing of Dr. Raymond Ham, and, in an agreement with the Mobile Task Forces, has offered to help contain and not destroy anomalies, as well as not doing murder on site, as long as it gets unfettered access to the gender switching stone, SCP-113, for some reason. I'm using a mod to watch your live inside Bone Lab. It's a VR game. That sounds rather interesting. Huh. The future is a wild place. What do you think will happen if SCP-106 fight SCP-682? Intern Salcido. So, we've already had a variation of this matchup. It was between SCP-953 and SCP-106, who during a containment breach got in a fight among themselves, and then accidentally crashed into 682's containment area. And so, all three of them, the Kumiho, the Old Man, and the Lizard, were sucked into 106's pocket dimension for a time, and when they came out, none of the above were dead, but 106 and 953 fled the scene in a hurry, which means 6082 won that battle royale. Dr. Friesch, the gender-bending stone. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with such an anomaly. I'd be interested in learning more of it. So, Dr. Friesch, SCP-113 is the gender-switching stone. It is a piece of red jasper, I believe, that if you touch it, it fuses to your body, burns every nerve in your body, which hurts like a bitch, I'm told. And it changes your DNA and your physical body to make you the opposite gender. Now, on people in the binary genders, it switches them one to the other, one for one, pretty easily. But when it comes to non-binary, gender fluid, other personalities in that way, it has more unpredictable results. For instance, one of our non-binary staff members, Dr. Cat, utilized it and became a shape-shifting cat girl. So, results may vary. It's also very important that you realize that there is a non-zero chance of death, and every time you reuse the stone, that percentage chance of death goes up. So we do not want staff members using it willy-nilly. You want to make sure that you use it the time you're going to use it and call it done. Meanwhile, 049, for some reason, is immune to that chance of death. I do not understand the physicality there, but anomalies be anomaling, after all. Desk is telling me in the back channels that this Boneworks/Bone Lab game actually has Eric, aka Toad King Studios, SCP Mobile Task Force symbols in it. I believe what probably happened is they utilized them just off the net. They did not realize that they were used by anybody. But of course, I hope they eventually gave Eric credit. And remember, Toad King Studios on Etsy is our #1 source of SCP Foundation stickers, patches, pins, and other merchandise. So check out our buddy Toad King Studios if you want some SCP stuff. Eric did get credit. Great success. Love to see it. As a non-binary, would the stone make me an Enderman because they're the only way I can describe my gender? Well, considering Dr. Cat ended up a cat girl, Aoki, I cannot rule out that it may give you some sort of Enderman-like properties. I can't guarantee that. The stone is very unpredictable with non-binary identities, but maybe. Refreshing the chat. Dr. Sherman, please give me the stone. I need this. Intern Brute, I'm going to need you to go to your on-site therapist, fill out the proper paperwork, co-sign it with medical, and then the next time 113 is on site, you will be allowed to utilize it. That is the standard protocol for the gender-switching stone on the Foundation's medical health plan. Can I give 049 a muffin? We don't know for sure that SCP-049 eats Intern Monstar. Remember, we have a X-ray of SCP-049's profile, and in that X-ray, you can clearly see that the mouth is encased in the mask. I don't even understand how 049 talks, because it's not as if a plague mask opens with a hinge. So this is just your chin stuck inside the mask. I don't know how it talks, let alone eats. Refreshing the chat. Intern Pricey, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Can I have a staring competition with SCP-096? Intern Smith, congratulations. That is the stupidest thing that had been said to me today. You have cracked the record. You suicidal schmuck. Get it together, staff. Would the dead touch of SCP-049 work against the zombie virus? Intern Armand, since SCP-049's touch ends the biological processes of anything it touches with its hand or body, the answer is it would destroy zombies except, or even probably not accepting those of its own making. I'm not sure if once 049 creates its own zombies, if it touches them or if it just lets them go, if 049's touch would end that zombie's biological functions as well. Question, in theory, not that I'd wish to actually attempt such a thing, what would happen if we were to put the gender switching stone on the SCP-682? Intern Freisch, I'm not unsure that we haven't tried that. Going to the termination log again. And 113. That's Spanish branches 113, but not ours. Okay, yes. Item number SCP-113. Dr. Burns, Dr. Christopher Burns, whomst all of my homies hate. All of my homies hate Dr. Christopher Burns. Dr. Burns proposed that an application of SCP-113 would significantly reduce its aggression by removing its, quote, feminine irrationality. Termination test record. SCP-682 was exposed to SCP-113. No physical changes were observed. Upon secondary exposure, 682 still remained physically unchanged, with the exception of developing a pink bow fully composed of flesh. Motherfucking Christopher Burns, we're gonna fucking throw you out a window. Defenestration is the only way. Rodland, thank you for donating again to say, how do you pronounce Keter? Is it Keter or Keter? So at its most correct, the word in question is a Hebrew word in origin, and there's something about its inflection that I just can't say right for some reason, because it's supposed to be like Keter, Keter. But the next best thing is Keter, rhyming with cheddar. It's not by any means Keter, rhyming with meter. Revenge for SCP-8980 put Dr. Christopher Burns and that thing in a locked room together. Approved. Approved. Unstoppable, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a wafa thin mint on your way past the commissary. Interesting question. Would 999 be affected by the Screaming Man? Well, let's go look at the documentation for the Screaming Man and see what it is capable of. So, a SCP-13333-J exclamation mark. Object class, Enochian. Special containment procedures. SCP-13333 is to be contained in the third volume of Gaspar's Revenants, a text which should manage to contain its awesome powers. SCP-13333's energies must be bled off through epic necromantic rituals orchestrated by no fewer than 17 Dreadlords. Additional Foundation Dreadlords are allowed, permitting that additional necromantic angstroms are recorded by the Vociferon. Description: SCP-1333 is the Screaming Man! His power is justifiably feared as a consequence of his very presence ushering in the end times. Should the Screaming Man ever actually scream, then I fear for us all, for his breaths would shatter the very foundations of the universe. Consult a necromancer for further information. Currently, should the Screaming Man's powers ever be harnessed, he could be an unstoppable tool for super evil, correction, super good and not evil. Claims that should anyone stare too long into his cavernous nostrils, they will, quote, see into the dark void that lies beyond the soul of man, are currently unconfirmed pending testing. Addendum. So yes, I do believe, based on the documentation here, the answer is 999 would clearly be affected by the Screaming Man. So, let's not have them interact, shall we? Sheeny, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself, you know what? It's cold out there, so get yourself some hot cocoa with any anomalous beverages you use to keep warm alongside it. I'm willing to pretend I saw nothing if you want to throw Burns into the back rooms, just saying. Another fantastic option on the table. Thank you for your discretion. Guys, how do we get him to talk about our things? Intern Wind, you ask questions and I answer them. There are 115 people in this chat right now, so I can't promise to answer nearly all the questions, but I do the best I can. Obviously, you could always do a super chat or a Ko-Fi, because that guarantees your question will be answered in return for your generosity. Otherwise, I'm just picking at random here. What's SCP-3199? Intern Noob, are you unable to open the SCP database on your datapad? Because a simple question like that, you can just type in SCP-3199, and you can go to the SCP Wiki, and there is the database entry which explains clearly what the anomaly is. I don't know what else you want me to say, that the database entry is open to you. Can an SCP absorb every giant star? Well, what SCP are you talking about? You need to think about specific SCPs here. I mean, we have over 10,000 SCPs in containment right now. So, some of them could, and most of them can't. Specificity, my friend, specificity. Is SCP-001 the Gate Guardian considered Thaumiel? Intern Monstar, why would the Gate Guardian be considered Thaumiel? Thaumiel is a containment class for SCPs that contain other SCPs for the Foundation. So my question for you is, what do you think the Gate Guardian is object classed? Because I'll tell you this, on the database, it's not Thaumiel, it's Euclid/Keter. So, once again, on the database, it's listed right there. The Desk of Alto Clef, why is there ads during the live streams? Master of Salt, because we're monetized. That way Site42 can raise funds to support SCP artists and animators and game devs and filmmakers and stuff like that. So, it's YouTube. Capitalism is the answer, in fact. If you want no ads, you could always sign up for YouTube Premium. It is actually quite useful for me. I'm a fan of it. And YouTube Premium gives more to your creators that you watch than the ad revenue does. So it's a win-win. Rodlin, thank you for donating again to say, help, someone replace my friend's water bottle with SCP-198. Is that the mug? Is 198 what I think it is? God, I hate that thing. Codename Cup of Joe. Well, your friend is not going to live very long, Rodland, because they are going to die having had to ingest the multiple bodily fluids that spawn in that cup. It's right up there with cornucopia acid being some of the grossest SCPs that we have. Can 198 be surgically removed? Let's check the database, Dr. Frogman. Once bonded, any liquid inside will disappear and inexplicably begin to form with the bottom up with the bodily fluids. Rapid dehydration, or unless they drink the gross stuff. I don't see any attempts to surgically remove. No, we have not tried to surgically remove it because it doesn't matter. Once they are bound to SCP-198, their body loses the ability to gain nutrition or hydration from any source except for the contents of that godforsaken cup. Godforsaken in this case being SCP-029-J, codename Uber Driver Jesus, because get me the fuck as far away from that thing as possible. Ugh. So no, it's not worth even surgically removing it at that point because they will still be unable to live past that 70-hour mark, which is the record for surviving with that thing. Unstoppable, thank you for donating again. So here's something interesting I would be interested in. 999 is a glob and has no visible limbs or anything that could count it dead. So what would happen if 096 or 173 tried to kill it? It saw 096. So because 999 does not have eyes, it can't see 096. So 096 would never attack it. It doesn't have eyes. 173 could try, but you can't snap the neck of a slime. There's no neck to snap. Now, 999 has obviously been treated pretty poorly in some universes by the Foundation in a project called Asset Florida Orange, in which case we tried to use SCP-999 to improve morale around the Foundation. We instituted a giant blender with a pneumatic crusher to a press. There we go, hydraulic press. And we pushed 999 down into the blender, at which point we were able to liquefy 999 and insert it into rations, which then improved the morale of Foundation staff. Now, we did not fully blend SCP-999 because we need to feed it and have it regrow so we can blend it again. I'm not a big fan of those universes. That one's a little fucked up, if you pardon my French. Can I wear 999 like a Venom symbiote? You could certainly dive into that couch-sized slime, but you're not going to be able to pilot it. If anything, you're more in line to get digested than anything else. Fun idea. Switch up 2 random SCP's con procs and theorize if those con procs could still contain them. Intern Sandy Castle Project, which I just realized is SCP, so good acronym. Which 2 SCPs? SCP containment procedures are... Oh no, I just said SCP containment procedures. That's like saying special containment procedures, containment procedures. The con procs are very specific and tailored to the anomaly, so it is very easy to say no. The containment procedures most of the time will falter. Unstoppable, thank you for donating again to say, I thought SCP-999 had eyes. Many people do. It's one of those things where, Mandela effect, people remember things wrong. If you read the SCP documentation for SCP-999, there is no eyes on it or any facial features. It's just a 2 meter by 1 meter slime. But because it is very nice, because it is kind to staff members, people anthropomorphize it all the time and they draw it with facial features. And they draw it small and cute. But it's not small and cute with facial features. It is big and nice, but not so cute because it's a couch-sized slime. Why do we draw 999 with a face? Why do people love their pets? Why do people anthropomorphize their Roombas? It's because humans have this habit of anthropomorphizing and falling in love with things that they shouldn't. Hell, half of what we do with the proper pronoun parlance protocols is tamping down on that instinct in our staff and reminding people that they are not, the anomalies are not people, the anomalies are objects. That way they sympathize with them and humanize them at least a little less. Rodlin, thank you for donating again. People, SCP-049 has breached containment and is smoking a huge blunt. We in the O5 Council, but in the pipes, have decided to let him go as he is, quote, super chill. He is also giving out blunts. So first of all, several failures in proper pronoun parlance protocols. SCP-999 is an it, not a he. It is a slime. It doesn't even have gender markers. Why would you call it a he or a she anyways? Get it together. Furthermore, SCP-999 is only known to consume sugary products. It does not contain the marijuanas. At least not most of the time. Intern 4241, thank you for your 1 month as a level 1 researcher here at Site 42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Dr. Sherman, what will happen if SCP-005 is used on SCP-004? Well, let's take a look at what SCP-004 is real quick. 12 rusty keys and the door. Old wooden door, set of 12 rusted steel keys. All right, laws of physics change. It is possible, due to a thaumaturgic relationship between the 12 rusty keys and the door, so to speak, I would highly suggest that probably the skeleton key SCP-005 could open the door no problem, but it wouldn't lead to any of the spatial anomalies because it's not the matching key. You see what I mean? Intern Indo, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a box of Junior Mints on your way past the commissary. If every SCP in Site-19 breached, what would you do? Pray. There's some bad shit locked up in there. It would not go well for the world at large. But I'm also at Site 42, so it's not my department. Dr. Freesh, thank you for donating for the first time today, I believe, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a crepe on your way past the commissary. Miss me, old friend. I do not understand your staticky dialogue. We just talked earlier and there was no problem with your walking stick earlier. I'm not sure what this is about. What's this emblem next to my name? Researcher Master of Salt, that is your membership badge. It is Dr. Sherman with finger guns. Rodland, thank you for donating again and said, dude, I said 049, not 999. Oh, okay. Oof. I read that wrong. We've been talking about both a lot. I mixed up the numbers. How is the Plague Doctor smoking a huge blunt? It's, again, we just talked about this. The mask covers its entire face and nose. Is it sticking the blunt in the end of its snout? There's not a hole at the end of its snout. What are you even talking about? This is perplexing, to say the least. When did I become a member? Master of Salt, people often gift memberships to the chat. And those gifted memberships are distributed randomly by YouTube with a bias toward people who interact with the channel. So when you're liking our videos, commenting on them, chatting and liking the streams, that gives you a higher likelihood in YouTube's algorithm to gain a gifted membership. Unstoppable, thank you for donating again to say, if 999 has no face as confirmed by docs, how can it sense people? Well, that's a good question. We are not exactly sure. It is an anomaly, after all. We don't understand the mechanics of it completely. But we do know that it can, quote, see people and move toward them and interact with them. Can 049 regrow limbs and heads? Intern Gamer, not to our knowledge. I mean, we're not trying to damage the anomaly in general, so we're not going to cut off an arm and find out. But I would assume no. Site 42 staff, we are currently 4 minutes left in stream. 4 minutes left in stream, so get in your last questions before we reach the end. What's the meaning of life, the universe, and everything? Intern how to, that would be 42, but you need to specify the correct question. Rodland, thank you for donating again to say, oh, also I replaced your coffee cup with SCP-198. The fuck you did. My security for my office as site director of Site 42 is pretty damn strict. We would know, and even for attempting as a prank, you're being demoted to D class. That thing is disgusting. You have this coming. Forrest Connor, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a Belgian waffle on your way past the commissary. How do you feel about SCPs being under the influence of the marijuana? So depending on the anomaly and depending on the strain, there is some medicinal use, some calming that helps anomalies to stay in containment, to not want to flee. And so in that sense, I am fine with certain anomalies having that privilege. It has to be carefully meted out and regulated, however. Unstoppable, thank you for donating again to say, following SCP for a bit but never got this, how do you all contain SCPs? Well, look at the SCP documents on the database. Every SCP, Special Containment Procedures, has containment procedures for those anomalies. And so every SCP requires different containment because every anomaly is slightly different. Intern Indo, thank you for donating again to say, what SCPs would you recommend for a game I'm making? Well, that really depends on the game that you're speaking of. What kind of game are you making? Obviously, both SCP Containment Breach and SCP Secret Laboratory use the standard, what I like to call the gamifiable SCPs. 173, 096, 049, they're all somewhat humanoid, easy to understand mechanics for gamers. That's why they're so popular as memes, as well as game characters. But there's a ton of different SCPs, so you just have to specify what you're going for. Intern, Night Killer Girl, and Lola the Dog, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for thank you for subscribing. Rodland, thank you for donating again to say, oh, I'm actually in your room right now. The security feed for my office says otherwise. Did you find the wrong room, you rube? You absolute fool? Forrest, thank you for donating again to say, would you go into a normal IKEA after knowing about the infinite IKEA? Well, yes, because there is only one IKEA on Earth that allows entrance into the infinite IKEA. We know that. Or at least we hypothesize that. 99.999% of IKEAs are fine to enter. The one that isn't, we have it locked down. So, yes, I'm fine with that. Intern Moonlit, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a fruit salad, yummy yummy, on your way past the commissary. How do anomalies even appear? That is a great question that we don't quite know. Sometimes we encounter them in the wild, we have no idea of their origins. Sometimes they are made by people. Sometimes they're made by anomalous people. Sometimes they're made by non-anomalous people. Sometimes random people can just create anomalies for some reason. Sometimes they pop in from another universe. It's really hard to tell. Unstoppable, thank you for donating again to say, should have clarified, how do you get the SCP into containment? Well, that also depends. Some SCPs willingly come into containment because they're like, oh my god, I have freaky powers and it's weird, can you help me? And some we have to tranquilize and move. Some we have to, sometimes it's just an object and we can just put it in a box and transport it. So again, that also depends on the anomaly. Oh, Site 42 staff, we are 2 minutes past the end of stream. And you know what? Even though we did not meet the membership donation goal, I am feeling kindly today. So give me 1 minute, Dr. Chair, keep them busy. Oh no. Oh no, I'm wrong. I forgot. Puppy of Interest is on a mission. I cannot show you Puppy of Interest 42, codename Charlie, because the Puppy of Interest is currently on a mission with Agent Goose. I apologize. You will have to wait to see Puppy of Interest 42 later on. Oh, am I wrong?
I think Professor Sherman's a little blind.
No, I just thought that you were on your mission already. You said 4 o'clock. So, my bad.
Oh, yes.
So yes, you are lucky. Here is Puppy of Interest 42.
She was playing with Charlemagne.
Gotcha. Hello, Puppy of Interest 42. The chat wanted to see you. I hope this is acceptable. Yes. My face clearly needs a bath. There you go. Charlie, without the E, is here presently. You're welcome. Okay, there we go. Back to the floor, Charlie. Woo-wee.
My mission has been postponed.
Your mission has been postponed, I see. Okay, normally I would go wash my hands, but we are at the very end of stream, so just let me get this last donations done, and then I will go do that, as well as get on to today's testing. So, Sheeny, thank you for donating to the Ko-Fi this time, which, as we said earlier, has a 30% or has a 3% fee, as opposed to a 30% fee like YouTube Super Chats do, so we appreciate the effort of going through the Ko-Fi. Before we head out, I just want to reiterate, if you just want to drop burns into level fun or anything, hit me up. Call me Stevie Wonder, because if anyone asks, I ain't see shit. I like that. I like that both as a joke as well as a mission statement. We'll talk about CB in the future, to be sure. Narrator Noli, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a plate of flapjacks on your way past the commissary. Hi, if the apex predator pursuer from Die of Death was in real life, how would you guys try to contain him? If it's an anomaly, first and foremost. Second of all, I don't know what apex predator pursuer from Die of Death is. And I do have very limited time, as I said, end of stream. Apex predator what? Pursuer from Die of Death. Pursuer, Die of Death, Apex Predator, Unknown Origin, Killer in Die of Death, Rushdown Killer. It looks like a humanoid containment chamber, sufficiently reinforced, would be just fine. Cleave, swing, howl, stalk, unshroud. Yeah, just lock it in a room. I don't see a problem. I do not see a problem to locking it in a room, so I'm going with that. Gabriel says, shut up. Well, while I do have to work, so I will soon, I'm not doing it for you. Don't be rude. Didn't your mother teach you better? Rodland, thank you for donating again to say, oh, you don't understand, I'm in your pipes. Rodland from Rodland of Pipes. Well, I guess I'll have to flush you then. How fun for me. Okay, Site 42 staff, damn it, Moonlit, thank you for donating again. Has the government ever threatened to end the SCP? They can try, but they're afraid of us. The UIU of the FBI has orders to stand down if we show up on the scene, because they know we're more competent at dealing with anomalies than the FBI is. So yeah, they can try if they want. Site 42 staff, this is the end of today's stream, and as always, at the end of today's stream, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs, but I'm not going to tell you my favorite SCPs or my favorites. That would be cheating. But you can read the SCPs I personally wrote at the Sherm's author page in Site 42 Hub on the SCP database. There you can see the SCPs that I personally wrote, as well as contributed voice lines or sound effects to. And while you are at my author page, if you go one tab over, you'll find a list of links. Links that a lot of people ask about, but they are in all sorts of discord over how they can't find the links. It's chaotic. It's crazy. But not you guys. You guys are smart enough to find those links. And while you're there, you can become a Patreon patron or a YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly. You can do Ko-Fi donations or YouTube Super Chats to donate to us once at a time, even though, or especially financial donations are the quickest way to help Site 42. So for those of you who have the ability, we appreciate your generosity. It helps us to keep the lights on for myself as well as the Site 42 staff. Meanwhile, if you are broke gang and you can't donate, which trust me, we're an arts community, it's rough on those streets, we understand starving artists, you can still help us out by being a member of Mobile Task Force Site 42, codename the Signal Boosters. And because of your generosity with your time and engagement, we're able to boost ourselves and the SCP content creators we support in the algorithm, which gets more eyes, more people who can donate, and the SCP ecosystem grows and grows so we can have more SCP movies and games of a higher and higher caliber. So thank you, Mobile Task Force Sci 42 codename Signal Boosters, for supporting the SCP Wiki and its authors, artists, animators, game devs, filmmakers, merch makers, etc. alongside me. Now, without further ado, my favorite SCPs in no particular order are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning on that last one, it's a bit of a rough read. Speed round. 3999-3043-008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, 8980. Content warning on the last one's a rough read. Site 42 staff, that has been another Coffee Break with Dr. Sherman, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. Be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. I was born on a Dublin street where the loyal drums did beat, and those loving English feet, they walked all over us. And every single night when me da would come home tight, he'd invite the neighbors out with this chorus. Come out, ye black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes of Kilishandra. The credit song is Come Out Ye Black and Tans by the Wolf Tones. Be safe, be well, Site 42 staff. Fuck ICE. And as always, secure, contain, protect.